Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Take a Space Podcast. I'm your host, Leah. And if you're new here, welcome. Thank you. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're listening to me. And I appreciate that. Thank you. To all the listeners who've been here, the family, the friends, the supporters, other podcasters, thank you so much for tuning in. I wholeheartedly appreciate you. Take a Space Podcast is just growing, and I am so appreciative of it. If I could tell you anything that would seem unbelievable, is that when I started this thing, I didn't think that I would be consistent or continue it at all. If I would have told myself last year that I would be on episode 45 of our podcast, I wouldn't believe it. There, no ifs, ands, or buts. I just wouldn't believe it. But that's a part of the undoing and unlearning that I'm doing for limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are those things, those stories, those ideas that we hold about ourselves and things around us, really, that tells us that, oh, it can never be this, or you can only be that, or don't try so hard, or don't go so high. You know, you don't want to be rejected. You don't want to be disrespected. You don't want to be too high, and then when you fall, it's going to hurt, or you don't want to reach for these things, or you're not worthy. You're worthless. You're not educated enough. You don't make enough money, and you never will. You won't have enough. Everything will be scarce. There are these stories that we keep telling ourselves over and over and over again. And every time we tell the story, it's fresh with new details, more color. It's more vibrant or dreary, however you want to look at it. And the unfortunate part about it is when we tell ourselves these things, our brains believe it. And not only do our brains believe it, we start looking for confirmation. Oh, you'll never be good enough, so you'll always see someone better. Oh, you're not worthy, so you start pointing out different things and attributes that you don't have that other people hold, and then you reinforce that you're not worthy of whatever the thing is. Job, house, car, relationship, social circle, status, whatever it is, you think that you're not worthy of it because fill in the blank. And I'm going to get off your toes. I'm going to get off your toes because, you know, I don't want to call you out, especially if you're new here. I don't want to call you out. I'll talk a little bit about me. Like I said, this podcast, never would have thought. Almost a year, 9 months in, we're still going strong. Have had some amazing co-hosts, some great guests, some, oh my goodness, some mind-changing conversations. I mean, mind-changing. Just in the way that I think about things, the way that I say things, the way that I see things. I've had some really great conversations with some exceptional people. And it would not have happened had I not been honest with myself and wanting to do this, 1. 2, willing to take the leap. You know, oh, what if it fails? But what if it's great? And then what if it's just okay? It doesn't have to be amazing, and it doesn't have to be the worst thing ever, but what if I can work on it enough to be better? And every week, I look at how great the episode has been accepted, how many people are tuning in and taking a listen to it, I enjoy it, honestly. I enjoy these types of conversations. I enjoy the feeling that I get of learning from other people and having them learn from me. I enjoy the exchange of ideas. So even though 45 episodes in, And I'm still wrestling with whether or not I can be successful as a podcaster. Whether or not I believe that I can be consistent in doing this work. Whether or not I can really look at whether or not I can really make a difference or impact change or anything like that. But every time a new episode comes out, I'm proven wrong. So at some point, I have to get out of myself and realize that the beliefs that I hold are wrong. And if those beliefs are wrong, what other things have I believed about myself and my situation that is keeping me from achieving greatness? It's not something that people really want to talk about or want to get into, because there's a lot of meta work and trying to figure out how you think, why you think the way you think, what are some thought patterns that can change, that can essentially lead to some character development, some growth, dare I say it, reconciliation, especially when it comes to self, not necessarily with another person, but when it comes to self. So we looked at a little bit about what my limiting beliefs are, just in this case. But what are they essentially? Anything really that puts a glass ceiling on your situation. You've essentially put yourself, when you have limiting beliefs, you think about the mime in the box. There's no box there. He's free to move, but if he believes that there's a box, even better. There's an example of a circus trainer and the elephant and the stick. If you've heard this story, just go with me here. If you haven't, it's a decent story. It change your mindset about a couple things. There was a circus trainer who would tie an elephant to a stick, and the elephant could only walk so far away from the stick. So the elephant would then be trained to, when they see the stick, they know they can only go so far. Eventually, the circus trainer didn't need a rope. They just needed to show the elephant the stick. And if the stick is there, the elephant knows it can only go so far without having a rope physically tie it to the stick. In the same way, there are some things we think about ourselves, and if we say, oh, we come from this place, or I come from that place, or I didn't have an example of this growing up, or I've never seen anybody be successful in this, and we think that just because we start from one place, that it tells the trajectory for the rest of our lives. There are absolutely other choices or small choices that we're able to make that will change the trajectory of our lives. So whether we want to make 6 figures, whether we want to start a family, whether we want to buy a car, get a different career going, start a business, be better on social media, connect with friends, whatever it is that you want to do, if you can think it, you can absolutely do it. You just have to make sure that you believe the story you're telling. One of the things that I've learned is that I had to forgive myself. Because even when the stick wasn't there, I was trained to believe these things because I trained myself to believe these things. I'll never have this. I can never win at this. I can never achieve this, because I looked for it to be reinforced in my life, and because it's never happened before. So as I started thinking about all of the things, or not even all, just some of the limiting beliefs that I had, I start to question, well, who told you this? But why do you believe this person? Why does this person have so much say so? Where did this thought come from? Did it come from a place of growth? Did it come from a place of hurt? That's why everyone can't speak into me or speak into my life, because some people talk from a place of hurt. And they can say, oh, I'm just telling you like it is. Because no, you want to hurt me because you're hurting. So you got to be careful with the words that you accept from other people and what other people tell you. There was a woman who told my dad, there was a woman who told me, and never forget this, that I will never move out of my parents' house because I'm such a daddy's girl. And I have noticed I do more in my life to prove other people wrong than I do to make me happy. Oh, she said that I would never move out of my parents' house. Well, guess what? I'm moving all over the country. And not only am I moving all over the country, I'm moving all over the country by myself. And it's interesting how much work we put into proving other people wrong, but we don't use that same energy to prove our own negative thoughts wrong. No one likes you. No one cares. You're never going to be good enough. They're talking about you here. Who said that? Where did those thoughts come from? Why are you believing those things? So if I take the same amount of energy to prove myself wrong, then maybe I can learn to appreciate my life and where it is now. And if I can be so bold to appreciate my life and where it is now, I just may start to celebrate the little things. I may just start to celebrate the awesomeness that is Leah. Not saying that I'm some grandiose individual, but dare I say, I am worth celebrating. Regardless of whatever's happened before, regardless of whatever my checkered past may show, regardless of whatever is going on in the world, I myself, made in the image of God, am worthy of celebration. And knowing that about myself, I know that there are some things that I may believe that are simply not true. And I'm not saying that I have to big myself up and lie about my accolades or anything like that. No. I don't have to be the best in the world at what it is that I do, but I'm sure to be resourceful. I'm sure to do whatever it is that Leah does to make sure that I know that I'm separate from the rest of the group. I'm exceptional in being me. I know how to ask the right questions. I know how to get different responses. I know how to argue. I also know how to talk. Now, am I a physicist? No, because that's not what Leah has been called to do. I have not been called to be a physicist. No, I am good with the kids' science project. You put the Mentos in the Coke bottle and all that. I'm great with that. But I don't have to be the best at everything. I'm the best at being me. And the best at being me is growing in who I am, so that by the time I get older, 2-3 years from now, I'm not dealing with the things that were keeping me back before. So if a person can convince you that you're not good enough, that you're too this, you're not enough that, you should be more this, we'll try this, we'll do this, quell all that noise, figure out what it is that you want. Even if you have to battle yourself, look, we about to have it out tonight. You talk to yourself the worse than anybody else could talk to you. Our negative self-talk is crazy. But if we learn to check it, because we can't control our thoughts, but we can absolutely check them. oh, they don't like you because so. Do I care about if they like me or not? Are they going to pay my bills? Are they offering me friendship that I can't get anywhere else? So why do I care what they're doing? Okay, cool. Let's put this energy in something else. Let's be creative in doing something else. Oh, well, you should feel this. No, why should I feel this way? Why should I feel this way? Got a roof over my head, got food to eat, got clean water, got clean clothes, got a car, got my bills are paid. I'm good. But when we start looking at, well, I don't have this new car. I wanted those shoes. I wanted these dresses. I wanted to have that man or that woman or this job or that money. Or when you start doing that, spiral down. It's a spiral. You gotta choose. And this is one thing that I really want to leave you with. When you decide to challenge your thoughts, when you have a limiting belief, I can't do X because of Y, and you challenge what that thought is. Well, where did this come from? Who says I can't? Why wouldn't that be possible? And you actually walk that out. That's going to have to be reinforced by positivity from you. But not just in consistently checking your thoughts. It's making sure that the people who are around you are echoing that same goodness into you that you state to them. Challenging your beliefs, good or bad, is tough because you've been telling yourself this story for years. For years you've been telling yourself this. Imagine something small. If people who say, dinosaurs never existed and they were to all of a sudden see a dinosaur. Or if people who assumed that there were no Africans in Europe or no white people in the Caribbean or whatever the case, right? Or Asian people in Australia. People who think these things, right? Minds are blown when they actually see them. So what's going to really just blow you out of the water? Oh my gosh, I never thought. But now I'm able to see that. Yeah. If I can do this small thing, I can probably do something else. And if I can do that little bit bigger thing, then I could probably do something a little bit bigger. And then you take steps toward challenging your beliefs on such a regular basis that your beliefs change to not, I'm not worthy, to now, I am worthy. If I say it, it is mine. If I want it, I am going to work hard for it. But it's not just in the getting it, it's in the hard work you're willing to put toward getting it. Because success and failure is in the eye of the beholder. And success of this podcast is really subjective. I mean, I would say I've been successful. Success for me is showing up. And I've shown up. And I'll continue to show up for myself because I'm worth it. So let us know what your thoughts are. What are your limiting beliefs? I mean, I don't want to call you out. But if you did have limiting beliefs about who you are, what you thought you could accomplish, or what your situation may or may not be, what are some ways you challenge that? I'm interested in knowing. Let us know. We're on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Take Up Space Pod. That's Take Up Space POD on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Make sure that you also join us on the live on Thursday at 8 p.m. Central on Facebook and YouTube. And leave us a review wherever you listen to the podcast. I thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you so much. I am going to continue to celebrate every week that we put out an episode, every week that we go live, every day that we make a post, because I'm excited about it. Like, this is something that really challenges who I thought I was and who I thought that I will be. Now, I'm writing a whole new story. So, my advice, challenge your beliefs, especially the negative ones that keep you in the same place for the last 15 years. Let's go ahead and do better. Let's push towards something greater. Y'all have a good one.